Hey guys, it's Kelsey here from Wander Realm. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I really wanted to make a video about my relationship. Now, I've been getting some questions about my relationship. I know that some other people are in similar relationships or they've done similar things to what I've done. They have questions as to how I've made it work, and especially because the distance is so long and we're so far apart. So what I really want to explain to you guys is kind of what I've been doing to keep the relationship strong, what we've been doing as a couple to keep the relationship strong, and essentially how we've been able to maintain it for this amount of time. Keep in mind too, we do have an eventual goal in mind, so this is not like a permanent long distance thing. So keep in mind that this is just what we're doing to get to where we need to be. But right now we are in a long distance relationship and we have to make it work. So I would like to share with you guys, while I do my makeup, a little bit about how we've been able to maintain this LDR for so long, and I want to give you guys some tips as well as to, certain things you might want to look for in your LDR and certain other things that might help you in your LDR, and also some cautions and as well some positive messages about it. So if you are interested in hearing what I have to say, then just keep watching. So just excuse my eyebrows, I apologize. They need to get done. They'll be getting done tomorrow, but right now they're kind of a hot mess. So first off, I kind of want to just go in with some eye cream, some under eye cream. I always just dab a little bit. I find my under eyes get dry, so I just dab a little bit. I've already put on moisturizer. I'm just using like normal daily moisturizer, pretty much. So yeah, I guess the first question I get a lot is, how do you do it? I get that a lot. I think it's just maybe I find some people are just a little bit nervous about even an undertaking of some of that kind of to this magnitude. I'll tell you a little bit about the relationship first. So me, Modi and I, we met online. This was my second trip to Egypt. So basically what happened was I went to Egypt on an internship to teach English for 6 weeks. I came back and I was single while I was there, and I came back and I was still single. I did a bit of dating when I was there, and I kind of opened myself up to the opportunity of maybe dating somebody from Egypt. I know that sounds wild because I live all the way in another continent, and that's I think like 12-hour plane ride from 12-hour plane ride from my city. So, people might think that that's a little bit wild for me to open up my horizons to somewhere that far. So we decided to start the relationship during my second trip. So, like I said, during my first trip there, I opened myself up to the opportunity of maybe dating somebody from Egypt, and I just wanted to keep my options open, and I did like, I guess, Egyptian guys. I say that in quotations because, obviously any guy from any place can be a certain way. So I don't really think of it as an Egyptian guy. I just think, you're just a guy. It doesn't matter where you're from. Any guy can be any type of personality. I'm drinking Yansun. It's anise. Yansun is the Arabic name for it. It's just basically like a tea that is good for your tummy. It's like a natural herbal tea. So yeah, I opened myself up and I said that, I would date somebody from Egypt. I would do a long-term relationship, or maybe I would stay there long-term because I really enjoyed Egypt. I liked the people. Yes, there were negatives to living there, and I learned that as I traveled more there and got to know the country more. I realized that there were a handful of negatives about the country, but in the end, I just opened up my horizons, like I said. So that the first trip. I came back the second trip, like I said, single, and I didn't really date guys. I didn't date any guys from Canada. I was just, I don't know, I guess I had my heart set on someone from Egypt. There was a couple people that I was interested in at the time. I met my boyfriend on Facebook. So he added me, and then I messaged him, and I usually message everyone who adds me and just kind of say, hey, you know, like, how do we know each other? Just to make sure that, you know, I know the person, and if not, sometimes I don't remember the person, but I do know them, or I've met them during my travels there. So I just kind of messaged him and was like, hey, you know, do we know each other? And he was really nice and sweet, and to be honest, I just thought of him being a friend because he was dating somebody else at the time, and I also was sort of talking to other people, so I wasn't really that interested. I thought he was really awesome, though. Like, I really liked his personality. So eventually we became really fast friends. We became close friends very quickly. We called each other best friends. Yeah, I mean, like, we were just really close. It was kind of like we had a very... we had an advanced relationship, even though we had just met. Like, we had a lot in common. We love photography and art. He was really interested in the modeling that I was doing at the time. He's really interested in fashion and stuff like that. So it was actually pretty awesome that we were able to connect. And he was a really close friend for me. He was somebody who I talked to a lot online and Skyped with a lot, and he brought a lot of joy to my life. And eventually things started to get a little more serious. He was interested in a little bit more, and at that time, I wanted to stay single. I was also worried about a long-distance relationship. I just wasn't sure about it, and I think going in, that's normal. I just didn't really want to enter something so serious, I guess. And yeah, so we talked for a while, and things started to get a little more serious. But, you know, he kind of told me that he was interested, and I kind of said, maybe not yet. Just because, like I said, I was worried about the distance, and as well, I kind of wanted to date while I was there and be single for a little while. I had just gotten out of a 6-year relationship, so I kind of was just a bit cautionary, and I think that's okay. It's okay to be cautionary and think about yourself, not to jump into anything, because jumping into things can be stressful for both people. So I gave it some time, and I just said, you know, when I'm there and I meet you, we can give it, you know, we can give this a bit of a try. But right now, I think I'd love to just stay friends. I don't want to ruin the friendship. So I kind of friend zoned him. I'm not gonna lie, but in the end, it was sort of. It worked out because I got a lot of opportunity to know him, and I also got some opportunity to meet other guys and realize that he was the most important guy to me. So long story short, I'm just going to finish the story up before I can start giving advice and things like that about our long distance relationship. So long story short, we started dating in August of 2017, and like sort of closer to the middle of August. And we essentially started dating 4 days before I had to leave and go back to Canada, because this was my second trip in Egypt. I don't talk about it much, but something happened to me bad there, and I won't really get into that unless I decide to make a video about it. But what happened was, you know, he really helped me through that difficult time while I was there and going through a lot of legal issues and challenges, and he was really there for me. He was just my rock. He was somebody, I know that's very cliche, but he really was. Like, he was just so important to me, and he stood by my side and helped me throughout the whole process. Even when the organization that I went with wasn't so helpful, he was there. So I just 100% appreciated him so much more. And 4 days before I left to go back to Canada, we started our relationship. I told him that I'm ready to be in a relationship with you, and I would love to be in a relationship with you. And he was so happy, and we were both ecstatic about it. But then that's where the challenges began, because then that's where the long distance relationship began. We just decided that we were going to just be strong. That's kind of what our strategy has been, to be strong even when we feel weak, even when we feel like we can't do it anymore. We really try to be strong and know that there's an end goal in mind. So basically, we've been talking online. We've been, you know, obviously long distance relationship is online, but basically our forms of contact have been Skype. Skype mainly. Sometimes we use messenger calls like just during the day and stuff like that. And as well, just talking on Messenger. And that's about it. Like there's not much else. We don't really use WhatsApp. We only use really WhatsApp while I'm there. And we just sort of have regular Skype dates, I like to call them. So kind of like it's pretty much like a regular date, but it's on Skype, and we can't touch each other, obviously. He's all the way in Egypt, and it's definitely a challenge. Like having a relationship mainly on Skype is 100% a challenge, especially because sometimes our internet isn't great and we can hardly hear each other and see each other, and it really makes it frustrating when you miss that person so much and you just want to, even just seeing them through a screen is stressful and frustrating. So yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. So for our relationship, we only see each other every 5 to 6 months. We try to spread it out and not have it be too close together, because we want to sort of even out the time together, you know what I mean? It's so much time apart, so we just try to make it even. And like my eyebrows. Like I said, I really need to get them done. I really need to get them waxed. And tomorrow I'm getting it done, so right now they're super full, I guess you would say. A lot of sparse hairs right now. But anyways, back to the story. If I'm saying a lot, I'm sorry. It's a lot to put out, to talk about, and I kind of want to get it all in, and I feel like I'm just jumping from one subject to another, so I'm going to try to slow down. So basically, like I said, it is an online relationship. You have to find ways to communicate. Skyping is pretty much what we've been doing. We also, like I said, we talk on those other forums. So the Skype date is just like a regular date. You're seeing that person, like I said, but you're just not touching them. You're talking with them. You have to somehow make the conversation interesting. I do all kinds of things. Like sometimes I smoke a joint, or sometimes I take an edible or something like that, and then we can kind of share the experience together. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I regularly do in the evening, so he's used to it, and he and that's just fun for us. Sometimes he laughs at me, and I'm being silly. But it's an adventurous time for us. We get to explore more of our minds. We can have really interesting conversations on Skype, especially because that's all that we have. We have our communication. So what we do is we do our best to communicate through these forums. I absolutely love him, and you have to really love the person you're with, I think, to have an online relationship. Like, if that person bugs you, then good luck. Like, obviously, anyone can get on your nerves, and that's normal for people to get on your nerves, but I would say just really take the time to love that person, see that person for their positive qualities. Just view that person as, see the good in them. Obviously, if they're not showcasing great qualities, then yeah, call them out on it and assess the relationship. So, I get a lot of people asking me about long distance relationships, and the thing of it is, it really requires two people. There's no advice that I can just give you. That's the whole thing about long distance relationships. There really is not. There really isn't just a piece of advice that only you can benefit from, because the long distance relationship relies on both people. Sorry, I'm looking for something. Relies on both people putting in an equal amount of effort. Maybe that other person isn't so great at messaging, but they're really fun on Skype. Or it doesn't have to be like the equal amount of effort in each form of communication. Like I said, there might be different forms of communication that will work better for certain people. So for us, we message each other. We Skype a lot. We Skype once a day in the evening for like anywhere from 30 minutes to on average, anywhere from 30 minutes, depending on the evening, to 2 hours, I would say. It does happen where we've Skyped, I believe, 8 hours. I think that was the longest Skype. We went on like a Skype marathon. I can't remember. I had the day off and I just moved out, and so we kind of had our privacy, and I don't know, it was just nice that we had that time to just be together. You know, I don't want to get like emotional, but it's definitely challenging. Whew, don't cry now because you're wearing mascara, girl. Yeah, it's definitely difficult. And I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's not like, oh, we just have so much, you know, like every day is just so fun. We just mess each other and Skype and that's all we need. Like everyone needs human touch and a human relationship. It's part of life. It's part of being a human. I would say I'm not that much of a touchy-feely person. Maybe that's been sort of good for me because that's just not who I've been. However, you definitely, like, because I don't have it, it makes me want it even more. That's kind of how it is. So keep in mind that saying, distance makes the heart grow fonder. So keep that in mind because early on in the relationship, it may seem like your relationship is just really popping and there's just so much going on in the relationship. However, keep in mind you are most likely way more attracted to that person because they are farther away. So that's why I really suggest taking it slow, even though it's an online relationship. You're going, well, it is already slow because it's an online relationship. Well, actually, things can go quickly because, you know, you really want that person to come and move in with you when they're here, or you go and move there. And there's been times when I had an opportunity, I was going to move there, and sort of things just didn't turn out in that way. We're pretty practical, both of us. Like I said, it takes two people to have this long distance relationship. You have to both put in effort. You have to be practical. You know, we can't just say, let's just both, you know, run away together tomorrow. Like, yes, of course we talk about that. And is, you know, jokingly, we just wish that we could be together in this sort of fun, exciting way, and when our passions get the best of us. But in the end, we realize that we have a goal in mind, and that's another tip I want to let you guys know, that you need to have some type of a goal with your long distance relationship. It's a really bad sign if neither of you have any plans to leave your current country, city, whatever, wherever you are. If there are no plans to be together, then would you be in a forever long distance relationship? You kind of have to think about it. You don't really want to continue something in which there's no end goal in mind. So either I would need to be moving to Egypt or he needs to be moving here. This is not a permanent situation. I know that kind of seems obvious, but sometimes you can enter a long distance relationship and you're not honest with each other about your plans. And that's what I would say is be honest. Don't lie to yourself. If you know that you don't want to move somewhere else and possibly negative, that you think it'll negatively affect your life, don't do it. Don't being in a long distance relationship doesn't necessarily mean you need to sacrifice your whole life. If you have nothing going on and you're okay with moving there and you really need to be with that person and touch that person, then go for it. Go and do that. And I was willing to make a move at one point, but we had to, like I said, get practical about the outcomes. So that's another tip, is have an end goal in mind and be honest with each other and with yourself. So I'm just putting on some lip liner. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to be visiting him in April. Not April, what am I talking about? In September, mid-September. I was talking about moving there sort of temporarily for 1 to 2 years. I believe I haven't made a sit-down chit-chat video in a while, but I think I talked about it at some point. That's not going to happen. we've decided to change gears, and now I'm just waiting for him to come and live with me here in Canada. I will, like I said, I'll be visiting him periodically. We visit each other every 5 to 6 months. Sorry, I'm just applying lip liner because I didn't bring my lipstick downstairs. Yes, I did. Never mind. And when he's here, we will get him the citizenship when he's here. But I have to sponsor him for him to come here, and it's a bit of a process, but we're just beginning the process, and I'll be keeping y'all updated as much as possible. I really need to be filming more videos. Yeah. So another thing with long distance is the relationship itself. I find the relationship itself, like I said, is challenging because all you have is online. You really just want to come home sometimes from a hard day at work and just run into the person's arms, but you can't. So in general, I would say it's made us a lot stronger. So that's something I think you can say for long distance relationships, is that we're very strong people, and we've been able to take hold of our emotions and not let them get the best of us in terms of our relationships. Like, we say, yes, we love each other and miss each other, in between these times when we don't see each other. But we know that, like I said, there's an end goal, and we are both moving toward the same goal. We're both on the same page. So that's pretty much my advice when it comes to long distance relationships. It's just enduring it, having an end goal, having fun with the person, sharing with them little snippets of your life, taking pictures of things, showing them what you're doing, getting your hair done, makeup looks, just engaging them in your life, trying to have a normal relationship with somebody, but online. That's pretty much all I can really tell you. I hope that I've shared enough, and actually I want to be making another part of this video with my boyfriend when I go there this September. So we will most likely be filming, both of us, a sit-down video. I would love to do a Q&A video with him. I don't know if there'll be enough questions coming in about it, but please, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Pretty much done my makeup. I don't do much. I kind of just do a little bit of an eye look and like a berry lip. This is like my go-to. But yeah, so just let me know if you have any questions. You can follow me on Instagram. You can message me or follow me on Facebook. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please do, and please like it, give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy the content. I do have more videos in the making. I know I always say that. I want to do more sit-down videos in between the vlogs that I've been doing. So just to keep you guys updated, and as well, there's some other things I want to share with you. I want to be making a little more controversial. Be sharing a little bit more in terms of controversial topics. I have a few that I feel like I need to get out there and share them with the world. I would like to talk about my microdosing experience, my microdosing with magic mushrooms. Just my recommendation would be, if you feel like this person is worth it and worth your sacrifice, then be positive. Because there was days when I really felt like, what am I doing this for? But in the end, I knew that this person was worth all of the difficulty that I had been through and that I'm going to be going through. I still live my life. In fact, I would say I'm even more free in a long distance relationship because I'm not physically with that person. So it can be a challenge, but it also can give you more freedom and flexibility. Being in a relationship is also sacrifice in general. When you're with somebody, you sacrifice your time, you sacrifice, what you want to do sometimes, and you have to do what that person wants to do, and you have to compromise. Whereas here, I do compromise just for us to Skype, but pretty much during the day, I do whatever I want to do. So, I think I've rambled enough. Like I said, please subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Please comment below if you have any questions for me and my boyfriend. I really want to film a Q&A about our relationship. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.